The more you learn, the more you realize you know very little. Today let's talk about something that affects all of us, and that is imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is that nagging inner voice that tells you you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're inadequate, incapable, and many others. All the self-doubts regardless of how much you've achieved in life. That's why it affects even the high achievers. There is a research that was done late in 1970s by psychologist Dr. Ross Clance and Dr. Susan Ames, and they realized a pattern in over 150 successful women. Despite their achievements, they were feeling like fraud, and they attribute their success to luck, not their skills. But guess what? Even the subsequent research that was done shows that 70% of global population, literally almost all of us, will experience imposter syndrome at some point in our lives. And imposter syndrome doesn't discriminate. It affects all of us regardless of your age, your profession, your race, your ethnicity, and you name it. And the shocking part is, it often starts in childhood. Those too much praises, too much criticism, inconsistent feedback that you get from your parents or caregivers, or even those extremes like when you are young you are told you are the smartest girl in the world, or you are too dumb like your mother. All this contributes to that development of imposter syndrome because they have to now keep up with that compliment. If you haven't seen my video on self-concept, please pause and check that one and then come back to this, because it's going to be laying a better foundation for you to understand how you are going to work with inner critic the moment you understand what external voices looks like for you. It's important for you to note that imposter syndrome is a psychological experience, but it's not a diagnosable mental illness. It's not even listed on DSM-5, that is Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, that we use, psychiatrists and psychologists use in the diagnosis. Some research shows that it can contribute to some mental illnesses like depression, anxiety, and so on. Now that you understand imposter syndrome, it also has what we call imposter cycle. Let's say you have a project. Before you start the project, you get anxious, you over prepare, you want to make it perfect. And when you realize you don't have a lot of time, you might procrastinate so that you have more time to work on it. And then when you realize time is not on your side, you rush through it to finish it. You submit it and then you feel relieved. But then deep down you tell yourself, I could have done better than that. You start remembering even the things that you should have done to make it more perfect. Now the thing is, you want to jump into the next thing so that you prove yourself that you can do better than the previous one. And then the cycle continues. At some point we even burn out just because we want to keep doing extra and extra. And when someone compliments you for this achievement, let's say submitting the project, you don't see it as your effort. You see it as just luck, or things are just working out for you. But what's driving all this? Perfectionism, unrealistic expectation, fear of failure, self-doubt, and so on. You even forget you are a human being. You forget that sometimes you can make mistakes. So in the process, we even forget that as human beings, we are limited. We need to relax. We don't have spare parts that we can say, let's say if you start getting burnout, you switch one part of your body and replace it with the other one. No. And this is the time that, even I'm telling this to myself as well, this is the time that we need to realize that we can do what we can, but we don't really need to burn ourselves out for perfectionism. for that achieving that unrealistic expectation that doesn't even exist. So let's look at how are we going to overcome the imposter syndrome. Number 1, counterfactual thinking or cognitive reframing. Ask yourself, all these things I'm thinking, do I have evidence to it? And then challenge that thoughts. If it's not true, it's not true. Don't believe it. Number 2, shift comparisons. Instead of comparing yourself with someone else, how about you try to compare your today to yesterday, and you realize that you are taking steps, you are bettering yourself. Not that you have all that unrealistic expectation just because you're comparing yourself with someone who is far ahead of you, even decades ahead of you. It doesn't make sense. The third one, reflect on your achievements. Pause and count all those steps you've been taking over years. I remember my imposter syndrome started after I won an award. And I was feeling like, am I really doing enough? That time I used to feel like I was doing a lot of things, and now everything I do, I'm like, am I really doing enough? Am I really optimizing my potential? And that is where we draw the line. That is where we get lost, because as human beings we can only do enough. The fourth one, personalize your coping strategies, because you are the one who knows where the rain started beating. You're the one who knows your triggers. You know what are those inner critics that you're having. Why are those inner critics existing in the first place? And the moment you are aware of this, it's easy for you to work on them and come up with a coping strategy that can work well for you. And if you feel like this could be overwhelming you, then you can also seek a professional support. Allow someone to work with you. If nobody told you this today, take it from me. You are enough. You've earned to be where you are. If not, you wouldn't be here. Let's keep driving. See you in the next video.